I can't get over how strange it is. And it's nothing more than that. This isn't a larger criticism on Devers. It's just odd that Tom Caron asks a question in English. He answers it immediately in Spanish.
Yeah.
Then the translator translates the answer, which you and I both have the same suspicion. The guy's not really answering and translating
I can't tell you for sure, but
what Devers is saying.
So, yeah.
I'll give you another example coming up where he catches himself in the middle of answering it and changes it on the fly. The whole thing yesterday was odd. The whole situation with Devers, Bregman, and the Red Sox is odd. And I don't like the smell of the whole thing, Keefe. I don't.
No, it is bad. It's been a rough offseason or, preseason, whatever you want to call it, for Rafael Devers. This should be a great time for the Red Sox. They actually added to the roster. This player in particular was bitching about it a year ago through his interpreter.
Get us players.
Get us players.
Get us talent.
They got you players, and now you're pissed about it.
Oh.
And now this whole third base thing. But then what's making it even worse is he's not ready to go, and they keep pushing his start time back. So it's hard for you to complain about where you play when you can't even play. And the team is in a better spot. The team is better with Bregman than without Bregman. And yet Devers, who has this massive contract, really the only significant contract. Like, Bregman makes a lot for this year.
Yeah.
But
it's short term.
$400 million deal
it's
is
short
Rafael
term,
Devers
and $120 million in Major League Baseball really is 40 AAV is a lot, but $120 million compared to the contract Devers has, I agree with you. He's the only one making significant money.
The expectations on this team are up. The excitement level is up. How everybody feels about the players on the team, up, with the exception of Devers. I feel like Devers is the one guy that is pulling it down.
So give me more here yesterday. And this, you're going to hear the translator. So again, you'll hear more questions in English. Devers answers in Spanish. The translator jumps in and corrects himself on the fly, which I find to be the oddest thing in this whole exchange. So here's more.
You said you made it clear to them how you feel. If they say, okay, we understand that, but we'd like you to be the DH, can that work?
Pues no entendió que hablamos algo privado y que no lo puedo decir en público. Y que
first of all, stop.
He's laughing.
He's giggling. The translator's giggling like Devers is saying something funny. And I know he's kind of repeating himself and saying the same thing over and over again. So maybe Devers is what's wrong with these guys asking the same question?
Maybe it's just an uncomfortable laugh.
Maybe. But he's giggling, which is also adding to the weirdness of it all.
Yeah, like I said, like I've been saying, it's something that I spoke about in private, and I'm not going to share here.
The opener is 2 weeks from today. If you are the DH instead of the third baseman in Texas, how will you feel?
Me tengo que sentir bien porque ya va a empezar la temporada, no hay otras opiniones y tengo que hacer lo que ellos digan. Ellos son los que pagan y ellos tienen la orden.
Yeah, good. At the end of the day, it's not my decision. I don't call the shots around here. So, yeah, I'll feel good. I'll go out there and do what I need to do.
Okay. So I think some of the corrections in the middle of the answer, and maybe it was in the first one, maybe I misspoke. Maybe it was in his first exchange there, where he kind of caught himself and he's the whole thing was awkward yesterday, strange. And when Devers says I'm going to keep it in private,
he didn't before.
What does that mean?
Yeah, but you were asked a couple of weeks ago, will you move positions? You said no. It was the biggest story in baseball for a couple of days, and that was the headline and everything else. So that wasn't private. So. Yeah, he's sort of giving you a more politically correct answer, I guess, here. This is more of the I'll do what's best for the team type of answer that maybe many people anticipated a couple of weeks back. He's sort of now, maybe after hearing all the criticism, maybe after further comments, and maybe also knowing that he can't play right now. So, because he's asked about, how will you feel about being the DH? That might be out of his control. What if he can't play in the field right away? He's DH'd before, right? Coming off of injuries or just sort of give him a break with his nagging shoulder injuries and things like that throughout the year. It wouldn't be his first game ever DHing. And so now he's talking about it's not up to me. Yeah, but the question is how would you feel? You answered it before, truthfully, and maybe he didn't, he got the backlash that he got for being truthful. He's decided to change his answer.
So to me,
I'm not going to share what we talked about here, just because it would make me come off. Those are private conversations.
Thank you. So that was in the first exchange. I misspoke there. Yeah. But he's like, make me come off. I'll keep it to myself.
Too late. Too late. How you come off, right? People are not huge fans of you right now. Now this can all get solved if he goes out there and hits 6 home runs in April as the DH. People will forget about it.
Well,
and the team's winning. People will forget about it.
And the backdrop to yesterday in the exchange is that prior to all of this, he took Walker Buehler deep. And so he smoked one off Walker Buehler yesterday.
Nice.
So maybe he's feeling himself a little bit. I have no idea. But you wonder what he's talking about. I'm going to keep some of this to myself. Because you're right, Keith. He didn't keep it to himself earlier. He said, no, I'm not. I'm a third baseman. I'm not a DH. So he didn't keep that to himself. Sean McAdam at Mass Live. Excellent reporting by Sean McAdam.
Who asked at least 2 of those questions that we just heard.
Yeah, he's been right there in the middle of it. He says, or reports that Rafael Devers was angry enough about his situation this spring, he considered asking for a trade. He said the issue isn't what happened in those private conversations isn't sure what happened in those private conversations between Devers and the front office. So McAdam doesn't know. But he does say that Devers felt lied to over the offseason because the team consistently told him the rumors about Bregman and Arenado were bogus.
Yikes.
This was after Cora preached about Bregman playing second base, and Breslow highlighted his defensive improvements. Some of that was with us, by the way.
Yep.
When we talked to Craig Breslow, the team said they talked to Devers before any moves were made. So he feels lied to. He feels misled, which, look, I think Breslow and Cora and everybody else should have done a better job of keeping Devers in the loop and saying, hey, you know what? We're in on this guy. He's going to be our third baseman. They needed to communicate that better. But at the end of the day, tough. It's professional sports. You're getting your contract either way. Oh, by the way, you suck at third base. This guy's better than you. The team has sucked when you've been at third base. So I know it's not ideal, Rafi. I know we told you before we weren't going to bring in Bregman. We weren't going to bring in Arenado. We thought maybe there wasn't anything to it. Turns out John Henry decided he actually wanted to spend money. We didn't think he
we
would.
were surprised.
And now he's going to be our third baseman. Sorry if you feel lied to, but that's the situation. You got to deal with it. And what he did is he considered demanding a trade in the offseason.
But,
nice.
I mean, what's the point of lying to him? I don't really get it. So, hey, keep him at ease, and we're gonna not sign him. Even though all offseason long,
I think we just answered it.
Those two. Why?
They probably didn't believe at the end of the day Henry was going to spend the money.
So maybe it was that. But I feel like everybody else, we talked about Bregman and Arenado all offseason. Those names came up all the time. And there were reporters like Ken Rosenthal being like, Bregman might play second base. That name didn't go away. And so unless Devers just had his head in the sand on it, he must have been like, there's something here, guys. There's something here. I just think if Breslow and Cora were lying to him the whole time, it does make sense why he reacted the way that he did.
Sure.
That was more of a message to those guys. And maybe even in the back of his mind, he's like, yeah, I'll DH. I'm making $30 million. I will do that. But I feel like
F you guys.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Why did you guys have to do that? Why did you tell me that you weren't doing that? Because it came across, pretty outrageous for a guy that did want adds to the team. He wanted good players in here. He wanted to compete again. They do that. But if the whole time they're like, don't worry about the Bregman thing, then they sign Bregman, and then he's being asked about it. Yeah, he's probably pissed at Cora and Breslow, or at least the guys whoever lied to him, he's got to be mad at that.
617-779-7937. I've gotten grief from the Twitch chat before. Twitch.tv/Boston WEEI. Oh, Jones, you trade Devers? Well,
if he's demanding a trade and you can get Vlad Guerrero back, then yeah, maybe.
I said I would trade Devers exactly in a situation for Vlad Guerrero or something like that.
This team's too good to trade Devers for prospects.
Yeah,
that's insane. But if you get somebody great,
I'm not itching to trade Devers necessarily. But if I can upgrade to Vladdy or something long term like that, hell yeah, I'd think about it. And if that's too strong for you, okay, fine. How about if he demands a trade? How about if he wants out? How about if he's going to be a problem? And McAdam didn't say he demanded a trade. He said he considered demanding a trade. But, okay, he was that upset and felt that wronged about having to move to DH where we all think you're going to wind up anyway in future seasons.
Yeah,
if not, you should have already been there last year.
Yeah, for sure.
For God's sakes.
Yeah.
So it's going to help you.
But it's not
he
great.
Was that upset that he considered demanding a trade. Wow.
But I do wonder about the trickle down for this. So if this story is going to be well known throughout the team, right? Obviously. So when Tristan Casas, for example, talks to Breslow or Cora and they say, don't worry, we're not trading you. Would you say, oh, right, like what you said to Devers?
Yeah. He might.
I would think so. And they probably should trade him if they get a good offer and everything else, and if they can't sign him long term. But I just wonder, there's so much positivity around this team right now. But then with some of these guys, do they trust Cora and Breslow now? Because if you're going to lie to your highest paid player, you'll lie to anybody.
Yep.
So I wonder how, Jaron Duran, like, hey, we're going to get a deal done with you. We're not. Maybe we're lying. Like, or don't worry, guys, we're not trading you. Or don't worry, we're not going to bring in a replacement for you. Or don't worry. These guys can't trust a word they say now.
I don't have a great answer for why Cora lied to Devers. Other than, he's lied about plenty of things in the past. Maybe he's just a liar. But I don't know why he would lie to Devers. He's got a good personal relationship.
And maybe he didn't. I mean, the story is somewhat vague about.
I would just say.
Could be Breslow.
Breslow, in his mind, might have been telling the truth. Everything we heard is that Breslow did not want to sign Bregman.
True.
So, Breslow might have been like, no, you're our third baseman. We don't like how Bregman's aging and all these other models and analytics that they've looked at.
Yeah, it'd be extra Weasley of Cora if it's true.
That's what I mean.
It's like he loves Bregman.
That's what
He's referred to him as the perfect player. So, yeah, maybe it's not him. Maybe it is a Breslow conversation.
Breslow might have been telling the truth the whole time in his mind. And Henry and Cora kind of overruled him. That's been the reporting from McAdam and others.
Could you see maybe as simple as this, and we're kind of guessing, but could Devers see all the different reports that are out there? His agent calls Breslow. Breslow's like, don't worry, we're not signing Bregman. And then that information gets back to him. And then Devers is like, all right, I'm a third baseman. And then 2 days later, they're like, big signing, Alex Bregman. Yeah. By the way, he's going to make more money than you for this year.
Yeah, trust me, I get being upset about it, and I get being frustrated about it. I don't get lashing out via the media. I don't get being so mad that I'm going to consider demanding a trade.
I think that was just a public FU to Breslow.
Okay. Yeah,
that's
maybe.
how I view it.
Maybe.
That's how I view it now. I didn't at the time. I thought it was a very selfish move at the time. Now I feel like it's just sort of a grudge match against Breslow.
So you guys can jump in. Red Sox on the table with the latest on Rafael Devers. You can jump in on the Pats as well. We got the Friday 4-pack coming your way about 15 minutes from now. Tom is in Vermont. I don't think I like where this is going to go. Go ahead, Tom.
How you doing, guys?
Doing great, Tom.
Hey, listen. Good to listen to you guys every day. You guys are the bum diggity. So, listen, anybody think this might be Panda Bear 2.0? And then the other question I got is, if he's unhappy, trade his ass. But what really irks me is you're paying him $300 million, and he can't learn our language.
Okay, so there it is. There it is.
Let me tell you right now.
It's a poor representation from the great state of Vermont there.
Let me tell you right now. If I played professional sports in another country, I could be there 50 years and I wouldn't know the language.
Okay.
I'd be so bad at picking up another language.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think he does understand the language.
No, that is tricky. It's like Sammy Sosa would do this.
I think he chooses not to because maybe it gives him plausible deniability. Mm-hmm. Maybe it gives him a little bit of separation when he's answering questions to say what he wants, and there's an extra filter there, maybe is the way I want to say it. The filter is the translator.
When the Royd guys got called into Congress, so Sammy Sosa did 1 million interviews of English, and then they're doing the Royd guys at Capitol Hill, and he's like, I don't know. You got to talk to this guy? So I had to take it down with my interpreter. It's like, Sammy, you know English. We all know that you know English.
I don't think Devers is Sandoval 2.0. I think that's what he was saying.
Yeah, God, no. He's way better than him. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, I'm not worried about
the bum diggity.
Well, that was nice at least.
Take it with a grain of salt.
But when... But again, we got to look at what we're actually doing. But no, the one that I'm fearful of being Sandoval 2.0, and it's not body type wise at all, it's Bregman, where Bregman comes in and we love the big game pedigree and we love that he's a winner and how he's come through in a big spot and he's going to be, a guy who brings winning to the Red Sox. And that's how I felt about Sandoval at the time.
See, I think Bregman's had better, consistent regular seasons. Sandoval really was. He was almost like a Robert Horry.
And he's not 500 pounds overweight. No. So, I feel better about how Bregman is going to age. But my bigger concern about who's going to be Sandoval is Bregman. Is he the right fit in the market? Does the big game pedigree translate? All those things. I'm less concerned about it with Devers, but I get the body type thing.
I mean, the year before they got Panda, they signed this massive deal. He had 16 home runs and had a 739 OPS.
Yeah, what was Bregman's OPS last year? He had more home runs, but what was his OPS? 760 something?
It was a low, right? But it was 768.
Yeah.
He had 26 dingers. He had 10 more bombs.
No, he had more, but also, Sandoval wasn't exactly ever a home run hitter.
No, he wasn't. It was a weird signing. That was a marketing signing. He also Bregman won the Gold Glove. Sandoval would never be considered a Gold Glove candidate.
No. Gold exploding belt is what he
That's
had.
still amazing that happened.
It was.
I remember watching that.
Was that
live
in his first spring training or the next spring training? Or no,
it was a regular season game.
Yeah, it was
against Toronto.
Was it his second year?
Maybe
or was it right when they signed him? No, I think it was his second year, where he was already like a punchline. And already, this
fat third baseman's like, his belt popped. It's like, yeah, right. Not for real though. His belt popped.
He was already, in the bathroom in the middle of games, liking ass models on Instagram.
It was 2016.
Okay, so was that his second? That was his second
year. It was the beginning of the season in 2016.
Classic. He was already, teetering. Just like his belt. He was already teetering, and then year 2, that happens.
He played for the Red Sox for 3 seasons, but played 161 games, hit 14 home runs, and hit 237. It was a disaster.
Nice. Joe is in Springfield. Hello, Joe.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
I'll put money on it that the front office absolutely lied to Devers about it because they weren't sure the deal was going to get done, and they didn't want his agent to leak it, and they definitely didn't want Devers to start giving interviews like he did after the deal that would potentially blow it up.
Okay,
and
but
lastly,
Joe,
hang on,
Joe, not a bad theory, but weren't they already linked to Bregman, and they were already linked to Arenado?
Yeah,
and so
but they didn't confirm it. They probably just said they were looking into everything, but we don't have anything new. We'll let you know. They probably just kind of pulled them along like that because they know Devers is a loose kind of gun on them, and they didn't want him to blow up the case. And how Bregman has responded since he's been there, I guarantee you the front office and Cora was coaching him on what might happen when this deal gets announced and how Devers is going to react, and he's threaded the needle perfect.
So I agree he's threaded the needle perfect. I do wonder if all of that is authentic from Bregman. But that's just my antenna going up a little bit.
I wouldn't give Brazo and Cora credit for that. I think that's just Bregman.
That's true.
I think he's just like a good pro.
Yeah.
I don't think he's like pretending or faking it, and I wouldn't trust those guys to coach him up on that.
So, the buy in the suits and stuff. I know Marcelo Meyer was all fired up about the suits that Bregman bought them.
Loved it, yeah.
And so, maybe it's authentic. Maybe I should give him more benefit of the doubt there. We got some Patriots phone calls lingering as well.
All right.
With all your thoughts on Rafi Devers. George is in Warwick. Hello, George.
Hey, guys. I was listening to the chat about the potential top 10 D. Would you say, just for giggles, assume a top 10 D?
All right.
Yeah, okay. I would assume.
Hell yeah.
All right. Coach Vrabel and Drake May.
Yeah,
I look at their schedule this year, and I go, this is a top 10 defense. And I look up and down their 20-25 schedule. Most often than not, I find myself going Eileen Vrabel and May over their opponent.
Their quarterback-coach combo. So he's doing the schedule that way.
8 wins. Put me down for 8 wins.
It's been a moment since I've checked the full schedule.
We can win, loss another time.
I'm sorry, we don't know. 7! Do we know we don't know the schedule. We know the opponents. We don't know the schedule yet. It's hard to play that game yet.
They have a great schedule, though. They legitimately play the 3 teams drafting ahead of them.
They are
the
weak
Jets
opponents.
are bad.
Yeah.
The Dolphins might not be as good as we thought they were going to be a couple years ago. It is a true last-place schedule in every sense of the word, so they have a lot of winnable games. I agree with that.
Parker's in Uxbridge. Hello, Parker.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Happy Pi Day, boys. How you guys doing?
Right back at you, Parker.
Happy Pi Day.
Yeah, great. Thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to say a quick thing about the draft. Now, my plan would be, I won't be too long here, my plan would be to trade down and get 2 linemen, first and second round linemen, and somehow get some diva wide receiver to this, some big boy to this, and not waste it on wide receivers. We do a horrible job drafting wide receivers in our history. Let's protect May and see what he's made of. I also don't like the idea of trading Milton. I think that guy's a stud. That arm strength is one of a kind.
Okay, so let's keep Milton.
All right, so put him down for best Haas available twice.
Trade down for 2.
Best Haas available, then go best Haas available.
Double dip, best Haas.
I don't know where you get the diva wide receiver, but you're keeping Joe Milton.
Didn't he?
Haas.
I mean, Joe Milton Haas.
Yeah, he could be. We already gave away Haas of the week, right?
No, we did.
Milton Williams.
Well, this plan, this is just a Haas plan. Then didn't he also want a big wide receiver? That's kind of a Haas too. What did he say?
Too many Hosses.
A big fella?
Dice wants us to rank our top 10 Ds of all time. Maybe better suited for off the air.
I got to sit down and think about that one.
Boy,
Quite frankly,
an Instagram video with the works done.
Yeah. No, I gotta sit down and give that some real thought.
Yeah.
I gotta do some homework. That's what I gotta do.
Chris Jones.
But yeah.
2,000 Ravens. It's just a mixed list, like actual defenses. $2, 85 Bears.
Chris Jones.
Chris Jones.
Okay, so
Frank Gore.